I would now like to invite Marlyn, an OIFN Steward, to reflect on how OIFN's core beliefs can guide us to take action individually and together. Over to you, Marlyn.
Thanks, Colleen. So you're going to see me looking up, everybody. I left my notes in the chat thing because I've got them posted up on the back of a Post-it board so that they're really easy for me to read and grab. And so I have recently retired, not sure what that ever means, but I'm here today because I believe in this community of practice and OIFN. And I'm trying to come to grips now, likely more than ever, because of all of the events this last 3 months and how I can be of more support in this change, at this change time. At least I think it's a change time as a citizen. The OIFN core beliefs: we believe in the rights of all people. We believe in people having support to determine their lives. We believe in ensuring that people have meaningful support for decision-making. We believe that natural neighborhood connections and community resources are the first and should be and must be the first resort. We believe in reflective practice. We believe in partnerships and collaboration to bring about justice and social change. We believe in a new framework for developmental services. We believe, and I think, we could add others, but we'll just stick with developmental services on that one. We believe that independent facilitation is about action and change, and that independent facilitation needs to be free of conflict. The last few months, and in particular the last couple of weeks, it has left me, and I'm sure many of you, really thinking about protectionism with lockdowns, racism, discrimination, exclusion, and abuse. It's been pretty life-altering for me. And again, it may be life-altering for you as well, and will cause you and me to take on some action for change. I know the hours and hard discussions that OIFN has had developing these core beliefs, and I can tell you, as I was putting this together, that time was really worth it, I think. We had a lot of really hard discussions, and I really, it really has affirmed for me that those discussions were worth it. I've been thinking about social justice, which is built into every one of these core beliefs. What does it honestly take for people who live with a developmental disability and their family, friends, and loved ones? Indigenous folks, older and young people living in congregate settings, brown and Black people, people from different countries, people of all different gender and sexual identities and others, to be seen as valued, have equal education, have equal opportunities. What has George Floyd's death meant in North America and around the world? 8 minutes and 46 seconds with a knee on his neck where he is saying, "I can't breathe. Please, the knee in my neck. My stomach hurts. My neck hurts. Everything hurts. Don't kill me, Mama." CNN had a clip of the President of the United States on Thursday, June 10th, saying, "We're going to fight racism very quickly, very easily and quickly." How many stories over decades have we heard from and about people not being able to breathe, not being able to live where they wanted and with whom? not being able to be part of regular classes at school, being K-coded and not even knowing it, not being seen as being able to work, being able to volunteer, that I can't even talk about that, needing specialized people to work with them, not being able to be trusted with money. That would be individuals and families. Policies are set up to question lots. That's why individualized funding, in my opinion, is not in place today. That we're not being compliant when we speak up, not having a voice, being on lockdown with little contact, done alone or with paid people at their sides, not understanding the agency's qualm requirements, having to hit out to be heard, and then being penalized because of the hitting out. How will people with developmental disabilities be free? OIFN knows that it will take change, of which individualized funding and independent facilitation, and families who love and would bend over backwards to make things work. Advocacy, the level of advocacy that's been happening over the years and today, it's only part. It is about being very aware of the power you, paid people, the system, governments, and others have over someone. People tell their stories of having to take the short yellow bus to school instead of the long bus that all the other kids in the neighborhood took. We have thousands of stories of abuse and power over people who lived in institutions. We have a class action suit that was settled with minor amounts of money distributed to people for the pain that they endured. The Canadian government has thousands of stories of Indigenous people who have told their stories of abuse in residential schools, being taken away from their families, while the white man continued to control whether or not they could leave the reserve or not. So glad to hear that Walmart in some states today will no longer be locking up their hair products for people who are Black and brown. Our aging grandparents, aunts, uncles have died needlessly through COVID. Are we thinking that congregated living is going to continue, but things will be okay if we pay people more money and the PPE supplies are available? The Bog Center paper out of Detroit stated that reforms, even when noble in intention, simply do not do enough to get to the root of the issue. Many of us have been part of different reforms over the years, but what has it really changed for people? Policies, governments, agencies, all of us. We all need to change, expand our connections, and include other groups who believe the same thing. OIFN is wanting today to be a starting point, that this is a starting point in this community of practice. What do we need to do? Are we part of a movement? It takes an inherent belief in equality for all people. We have work to do. All people matter. And by being part of this community of practice, we would be hoping that you will be part of these hard conversations, inviting others who are thinking about a movement for change, that all people matter, no longer setting anyone aside. Invite them into future conversations. As Reverend L. Sharpton said, think about all the people where there is a knee on their neck. Let's be clear. Knees have been on people, their families, advocates' necks for change for years. I am pleased to have been invited today to speak to the underlying intention of these expressed values. They offer me a framework and a guide for continuing conversation about what more is possible. They call for change to open to something better, not more of the same. For me, these values are based in beliefs about the community in which we want to live and belong, where there is equal justice, where we are listening and learning and acting together for change, where respect and dignity and compassion are core to our work, becoming better human beings together. The vision for OIFN is a place in Ontario where all people experience full belonging and inclusion and have control over their lives, to make decisions, share their interests and gifts, and receive and direct the resources and supports they need in order to take their rightful place in Canadian citizen with the same opportunities as other citizens. The best of a community of practice engages us in sense-making and meaning together in conversation and dialogue. The kind of disruptions of the past many weeks open cracks and show where we need real change. We want to be connected to one another to deepen all our work for change. And I just would like to close with a poem from Sonia Renee Taylor. We will not go back to normal. Normal never was. We normalized greed, inequity, exhaustion, depletion, extraction, disconnection, confusion, rage, hoarding, hate, and lack. We should not long to return, my friends. We are being given the opportunity to stitch a new garment, one that fits all of humanity and nature. Thanks.